So possibly another answer to the question you didn't ask: what happens if you chop the roof off a smart car? Welcome to Lot 76 Cars. My name's Simon, and today we're at the brilliant Goodwood Breakfast Club. I can already see some fabulous vehicles here already. Let's go and have a look at them, shall we? I think there were just over 520 of these developed, just 25 in the UK apparently sold, and it's the Mercedes McLaren SLR. Now these are incredible looking machines. That nose, there's a statement of intent, isn't it? There's a couple of them here in actual fact. Now this particular one is in this livery. I'm not quite sure I recognise the livery. It certainly makes the point about the power, but it's been back to MSO, McLaren Special Operations, and I think it's had a few mods. They wanted to make it go faster, didn't they? Look at the size of that diffuser on the back of it. I mean, that's you certainly got somewhere to put your coffee. It's a bit low down for me, but never mind. Lashings of carbon fibre. What's not to like about the SLR? Stunning looking vehicle, isn't it? So first up, let's start with this fabulous Lotus Esprit. It's a Series 3 car, 2.2 litres I think. A heady at the time, 160 horsepower, running on carbs. It was a development to the original. Pretty much, I think Giugiaro was still involved with these, the styling of them at the time. Some lovely details. Look at that fillet. I haven't noticed that before actually. Not huge amount of room in there, but it does look absolutely beautiful, doesn't it? That lovely wedge of yellowness. I'm liking that one to start with. Now, whilst they might look like a kit car, the Ultima, in actual fact, is something else completely. I think running huge American engines, from what I understand. Now, the claim to fame is the Ultima is that McLaren used them as mules to actually test the original McLaren F1. So it was really their moment of glory. They're pretty much, I think they're still in business. So derived from the 306 GTI 6 for the 6-speed gearbox is the Rally. Now the Rally saved weight by throwing away those leather seats, air conditioning, electric windows, and actually they developed this where they had a very limited production run of these. They had 501 cars, 200 red, 200 white, and 100 in black. So the black one's a rare one, isn't it? So lightweight, quick, and probably handles like a dream. I'd certainly love to have a bash in one of those at some stage. What a great car they are. Well, unusually we've got another lightweight Peugeot here. We've got the 106 Rally. There was the 105 Rally, and the 106 clearly came afterwards. Obviously this has got a facelifted front. Again, similar principles to the 306, lightweight, everything junked, no trim on the inside of the doors there, cloth seats, and doesn't it look a treat? They are highly prized these days and worth significant amount of money. Just got to focus in on the steel wheels, and why would you not? Don't they look just right on that car? The steel wheels, the decals on the side. To me, it's just such a desirable little car. It really, really is, isn't it? So these were a massive effort from a chap called Lee Noble. Originally, I think Noble Automotive are still in existence, but not with Lee's involvement. Using predominantly very highly tuned Ford powertrains. Think the 2.5 litre V6 engine. So much more than what might come across as a kit car. They're absolutely not. They're a probably fully developed car. Absolutely stormed some of the road tests with Autocar back in the day. And if you've got one of those, you really are in a very, very exclusive club. So we've got a Rover SD1A Vitesse. It's a facelift car. The facelift car's got the different lights and slightly modified front end with that grille beneath them, those lovely cross-spoke BBS style alloys. David Back designed that front end, being supposedly influenced by the Ferrari Daytona. Well, you can see, can't you? This one's lovely. little wood cappings inside. It's got a factory sunroof on it. Yeah, I do like a factory sunroof. And that whale tail, not quite a whale tail, but spoiler at the back end. They are super fast executive cars, and quite prized these days, especially as in Vitesse trim. So this is the E52 4.9 litre BMW Z8, a bit of a homage to the earlier, I think they were called 507s, that was a commercial disaster. This one wasn't. It sold in slightly better numbers, not huge, like many of them. I'm not sure whether they were sold in right-hand drive. I think many of them were only left-hand drive. I may well have seen this one last week at the Bicester Scramble. It looks suspiciously familiar, and you don't see too many of them, but it's certainly worth having a look again at that, isn't it? So the new M5 is both a plug-in hybrid and an internal combustion engine, thankfully, and this is the extremely useful estate version. I think these are over 700 horsepower if you combine the electric power. The styling can be a bit divisive. You've got that front grille, which has not got certainly the same style as some of the old ones. Thankfully it's not too overstated like some recent BMWs. The styling, I'm not sure, I'm getting used to it. It's less offensive than some of their recent efforts, and but as a car, size wise, I think this has got to be closer to a 7 Series. You know, certainly my perception of it is absolutely massive, but what a quick estate car, and in that colour it's quite striking as well, isn't it? So if a Lotus wasn't lightweight enough, Lotus produced around about 300 of these 311s. I think Exige stroke Elise base, more Exige actually. Look at the size of that spoiler. Now this is back to basics, you know, on-road motoring. It's more of a track car. I mean, there is no windscreen really to speak of, just a visor there. You've got helmets, and you probably need them. It's certainly an absolute eyeful of a car. Probably best suited to a run around the Goodwood track than a run around the roads around Goodwood, but there you go. So possibly another answer to the question you didn't ask: what happens if you chop the roof off a smart car? Well, you get something called the blade, I think it is. But interestingly enough, I'm not sure the story behind this one. It's very well travelled. It's got Ferrari badges on it. Now I'm not sure whether that's somebody's home creativity, but if it is, it's very well done. Apparently Pininfarina had something to do with it. Could it have been the assembly? Lovely Brabus pedals in there as well. I mean, this is open air motoring to extreme. Goodness knows how they've actually travelled so far and wide with that one. They must have had a lot of all-weather gear. And there you go, F1CHH. In the days before the G-Wagon was the car of choice for a Premier League football player, this is something a little bit more understated. It's a G-Wagon, G for Gelandewagen, I think supplied to the German army. Still in production now with minimal changes. I love that additional protection they've got over the front lights there. I'm not sure why you'd need that, but who knows. Even a bit over the side repeater indicators as well. It does look good. I love the check trim rather than leather trim, and you know what, it looks really understated and in short wheelbase form as well. To my mind, eminently usable and a bit more sensible than some of the long wheelbase cars. I'm not quite sure where I sit on the Lamborghinis. I mean, they certainly make an entrance, these cars, don't they? Probably the paint finish is more than I paid for my last car. But it is quite a work of art, isn't it? You've got to admit. I mean, from any angle, there's certainly not that many curves on that car, are there? Don't ask the price, you probably can't afford one. Well, I can't anyway, so. 911s, we've got a few. We've got the Series 2 Elise there. We've got another Series 2 Elise with the modified front end, and we've got a lovely GT3 RS. Porsches, yeah, we've got a few. We'll skip past the Porsches and we'll go and have a look at this lovely MGZT, based on the Rover platform, built under the Phoenix 4 Days to try and invigorate the MG Rover brand. I think Peter Stevens was involved in the styling, the guy who was involved with the facelift of the Esprit, with many other products as well. These handled substantially different to the original Rover 75 on which they were based, and that was no bad thing. And that's the 190, which I still think is the K series 2.5 litre engine from memory. So if you like your BMW M5's estate flavour, this is the E60 generation car. I think it works far better than the saloon. It's got this very complex, expensive to run and maintain V10 engine. Many of these people just walked away from the cost of maintaining and running these. You've talked about fuel consumption in the single digits. Chris Harris has got one, a red one, but that one certainly looks in really good order, doesn't it? I must admit. Well, I did have the chance to drive one on the channel a few years ago. That's in the back catalogue. A Delta Integrale based, I think, on a Strada platform, Fiat Strada platform. Yeah, that's true. Launched in '79 as the original road car, as the Delta. I think Giugiaro designed it, but this is something else. I mean, they were massively successful in rallying with this one. This must be near the end of the line, a 93, 94 car. What an epic car. I still remember that drive to this day. Check out that video because I had a lot of fun. So launched in 1995, the name Elise coming from the granddaughter of Romano Artolio, I think that's his name, who owned Bugatti and then owned Lotus, and that name sort of stuck, didn't it, and fits quite well. Relatively early car, what's this, a 99, extremely deep sills to get over, but provide a lot of strength to the car. I personally think that the Mark 1 cars are the purest lookings. The Mark 2 facelift done with some of the investment GM provided as a result of their Speedster, probably for me doesn't quite cut it in the same way, but that one looks great, doesn't it? Well, if you like your martini shaken, not stirred, then this is probably the Porsche for you, isn't it? 3.8 litres of Porsche loveliness, a GT3. Well, that's quite an eyeful, that one, isn't it? We have hardly scratched the surface of the breakfast meeting so far. We've got all those cars behind me to go at, and a few more that are still arriving, so stick with us and let me show you those as well. Introduced in 1964 originally, this is the G Series successor, I think, to the first generation cars, Carrera CS. Is that Club Sport or Carrera Sport? I can't remember at the moment. Put it in the comments, you probably know more than I do. Wheels look Fuchs alloy wheels, I'm not sure, but they look cool in that painted red, don't they, to match the stripes on the body. The spoiler's absolutely massive, bigger than a dinner table, but they are really iconic cars, aren't they, in that original format. Right hand drive car, UK car as well. Looks a treat, doesn't it? Porsche Carrera GT, 5.7 litre mid-engine, built only for a few years, what, 2-3 years, something like that. What a statement that is, isn't it? I mean, certainly you can hear that glorious engine. Let's just take a quick look inside. As you would expect, super quality. Look where the gear changes. I think that was mentioned on a recent video. I'm pretty sure that Dario Franchetti has one. That gear change is right up there, like a Civic, actually. Absolutely, well, I say priceless cars. They're not. I think you're looking over £1 million for something like this potentially. Blackpool's finest TVR, built in the Peter Wheeler days. Real statement cars these are, aren't they? I mean, certainly you've got to be an enthusiast to have one. You open the doors, not with a handle of course, but you open it with that button there. A lot of the dials inside and switch gears aluminium, so not bought from the parts bin of others. You've got the rear brake lights, are they up there in the right behind the window? I mean, very clean looking design, isn't it, from every angle? What Peter Wheeler and his team pulled off was nothing short of astounding, was it really? So celebrating its first trip out and in its soon to be 35th year is my Mercedes 190e 2 litre in Ascot Grey. The car had a great year last year, being at Festival of the Unexceptional, so that was quite a privilege. It's been off the road for 7 months, sadly a bit longer than I would have anticipated, but passed the MOT with no advices and back on the road as of the end of last week. So what better way to celebrate to bring it to the Goodwood Breakfast Club. From one extreme to another is a Ferrari 812 Superfast GTS. That is quite a mouthful. What a car that is. I think these are about 6.5 litre or something ridiculous. Far more power than you could ever use, but you know what, it's there if you need it. Beautiful paint on this one. Those shields normally on a Ferrari are a several £1,000 option, and maybe I'm even understating that, maybe it's tens of thousands, but some incredible styling features. I mean, this for me, 812 Superfast, is a really pretty looking Ferrari actually. As a tourer, I don't think you get much better than that, to be honest. Alfa Romeo 147, and I've rarely seen the 147 in that colour. It's I don't know if the camera picks it up. It's a beautiful paint finish on that one. I don't know if it's been repainted. Absolutely lovely interior. It's got the 3.2 litre famous Busso engine that everybody goes on about. There's telephone dial alloy wheels. It's just about to get those into shot there. I'm told with the right suspension setup they are quite a hoot. In standard setup maybe not. I think they ran one on the number 27 channel for a while, and I think he got it to where he wanted it to be handling wise eventually, but still pretty rare to see one of these days. Another week, another Lotus Carlton. Well, they didn't actually make that many of them. All of them in Imperial Green, all of them based on the 3000 GSI and built in different batches, as I may have mentioned on a recent video, where the two cars from different batches are exactly alike. They built them slightly differently, very detailed differences. They sort of worked it out as they went along. What an incredibly fast car they were, and they still are actually. So getting down low to have a look at this Wedge 400 SE TVR. No apologies for including another TVR, certainly when they're as special as this one. Now this one is in epic condition. Not only the fiberglass doesn't survive as well, I've seen many that are not too great, but this one looks like it's had a lot of love, and the paintwork and the interior is as good as I've ever seen on one of these, to be honest with you. And I've seen a few of them, looked at them from afar, even considered buying one, but beautiful, isn't it? So the very memorable advertising campaign and music by Groove Armada was this generation of Megane, and to be honest with you, it's rarely I see these of any spec these days with that straight rear window. It came of its time. I think there were quite a few cars had the same styling direction. This is the sport lapped Nürburgring, probably at an incredible pace, but again a rare one. Or would you take one of these two? Would you go for a 2 litre 16 valve Clio, which doesn't look bad? I bet that's quite a nice handling setup. Or the other option is, if we just have a look to the other side of it, just go around the back to start with, there is a 205 GTI. It's the 1.6, some say the purer one. I prefer it with the smaller sort of dial type wheels like that one. Pininfarina design. Original cars had this sort of plastic plate at the back. Looks like it's got the original dealer plates, maybe. Charters of Aldershot, not too far away from here. They are super pretty little cars, aren't they? Very pretty. Now the story with this Renault 11 GTL, it was actually saved from scrap. The old lady who owned it from new was giving up driving and took it to a local garage to sell it, and they said, oh no, we think nobody wants these, it's scrap money basically. That really upset her. Unfortunately, through a connection with the current owner, they actually managed to save it and keep it on the road. It's got, I think, less than 60,000 miles on the clock. Let's have a look inside. The owner's given me permission to have a look. This is what Renaults of the period look like. I'm sure they're supremely comfortable. There's a good test on an early one of these on a YouTuber called Mark on Motoring, so check that out. I love that sort of binnacle. How you've got that hooded binnacle, probably does prevent the shadows there. That lovely fabric draw trim. You know what? I'm really glad to see a Renault 11 here amongst all the Ferraris and 911s. That's probably one of the rarest cars here today. That's incredible, isn't it? Well, you could never accuse a Dodge Charger SRT of being understated, could you? Not too many of these in the UK. Probably the cost of fuel doesn't help, but a proper American muscle car, and again makes it all the more interesting to have this at the breakfast meeting. Super. So this was a brave move by Volvo. I think Peter Horby was the designer at the time, sadly not with us anymore, and it was built, I think, at the Nedcar plant in Netherlands. It's still got the Volvo grille, but they sort of compromised and hid it underneath. Pop-up lights, well, who doesn't like pop-up lights? And they were quite a pretty and useful little coupe. Decent amount of space in the back. They're getting rarer and rarer. I think it's hard to find parts like the rear lights. I think Auto Alex channels just featured one of these because they are becoming so rare now. But a worthy successor to the original ES, I think. Well, here you've got one extreme of basic motoring to another. This could only be a breakfast meeting, couldn't it? You've got a Renault Twizy. Is that it's supposedly a two-seater? You won't get me in the back of that. Oh, he's got a kiddie seat in the back. Fantastic. Electric, full electric powertrain. Quite special little cars, actually. I'm not sure how usable they are day to day. And then at the other end, we've got the Atom, which I think has got the Honda Type R engine, or certainly a lot of them did. I mean, again, basic, proper track action, all of them signed off, hand built in relatively small numbers. Everything's on display here. I mean, if you want to see how a car works, then it's pretty much all there for you to have a look at. But yeah, that is also an incredible machine. Great, probably around the Goodwood track, I imagine. So this is the Lister LFT. You can see by the number plate there, it's the LFT 666. Devilishly fast, as somebody said, but that's a terrible pun, isn't it? Sorry for using that. Basically based on a Jaguar F-Type, built in very, very limited numbers. I mean, you'd have to be quite a big investment over the original car. Quite a few tweaks, a bit more carbon, a few Lister badges thrown at it, but more importantly, actually significant mechanical differences to the overall horsepower. And with that yellow trim, it really makes it quite distinctive, doesn't it? So a bit of a skunk works project. I think they build very limited numbers of these Jaguar F-Type Project 7s. You're not going to see that badge very often because they didn't make that many of them. Harry Metcalf's got one, real lightweight, junks the normal cabriolet hood, or sort of soft top hood, with this lighter stretched arrangement over the car. Absolutely beautiful colour, isn't it? Lashes of carbon fibre, produced by Special Vehicle Operations at Jaguar, and with that stripe on the front, that's a pretty looking car, isn't it? Very mean and aggressive. So based on the same chassis as my 201, and coming after the 201 in actual fact, is the W124, which subsequently in later days became the E-Class. Now this is the very useful Touring E, so E Einspritzen in German, Touring I guess estate, I think so from memory here. A lot of similarities, that single wiper with the W201s as well. Very, very sturdy cars. And the fact that one's still in use says an awful lot. H, what would that make it, 1991? Something like that. So McLarens, yeah, we've got quite a few of those here today. Not necessarily for me, but I can certainly see the appeal. A GTS Boxster, an earlier, what's that, would be a 996, a so-called runny egg front lights 911, and one of the limited edition oh god, is this R53 or 56? I think it's R53, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the GP edition cars, and the GP edition cars were all numbered on the side, and just to prove that, this is 1624th one produced. A bit of a spoiler on the back, these are quite highly priced these days, the original ones anyway, and yeah, I guess that's probably an awful lot of fun, isn't it? So Kevin, this one's for you, mate. So this is an R107 SL, beautiful colour, had a hugely long production life from 72 right through I think to 88 or 89 with barely minimal changes, certainly visually. Beautiful, beautiful colour, this one. One of my subscribers has actually got one of these, and he absolutely cherishes it, and I can see why. That is quite a lovely looking car, isn't it? What a cruiser that would be. So the Honda Accord did come in a Type R generation, but they didn't come in this generation, so-called the Euro Accord, when it was sold in Japan. Different shape to the cars that they had in that market. We got the earlier car as a Type R, but this has been imported by the look of it, and if it drives as well as the first Type R Accord, it'll be an absolute cracker, I think. And let's have a look at this one. So it is an XJ40 car produced under the stewardship of John Egan, who wrote the book Saving Jaguar. Check that one out because that's a pretty good read. But this is a Daimler. So that name originally, the Daimler name, was licensed, I believe, from Daimler in Germany, but it's been dormant and certainly not used by the JLR organisation. And I think in this format, this was a real step forward. A lot of electronics, massive waiting list for this car at launch. Tom Hartley, the used car trader, made a lot of money on flipping these when they were new, but there you go, XJ40 Daimler. Another limited Lotus, I think this is a 340R. I think basically this is an Elise that's pretty much naked. Again, you know, everything's on display. Probably the 340i is much more of a track car. Look at that air intake. That's something else, isn't it? It certainly means business. No unnecessary bodywork there. The silencer and everything's pretty much on display. It's a lovely colour as well in that dark green. That floats your boat. There we go. By 1986, Austin Rover, as it was then, were in full special edition mode with the Mini, and this is the Chelsea. This is absolutely lovely. I did have a later Cooper one, but you know, it hardly changed. It's got those alloys that were the original alloys that came in. I've never seen those in anything else actually. Interior's got Chelsea actually embroidered into the seats. It's in an epic condition, is it really? It's from 86 apparently, it says. Period pop-up sunroof. Well, what's not to like? I've forgotten about the rear windows popping out. That's reminded me about it. Well, that's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Well, I'm glad to put that one in the video. Enjoy. So this is Ferrari's 12-cylinder, latest 12-cylinder car, 12 cylindri or whatever the equivalent is in Italian. Got that sort of visor front which is reminiscent, I think, of the Daytonas a little bit. I don't know what you think about that one. Incredible car. It's got the probably super expensive shields on the inside there, on the wing. We've even got this car's open, so you can see what a Ferrari looks like inside. Interesting gear selector in there, isn't it? Does that rise out the bottom? I don't know. I think Chris Harris drove one of these recently and reviewed it on his channel. Probably if you want more information about that, that's a good place to look. Well, it's quite an eyeful at the back, isn't it? So the E28 5 Series BMW does share quite a few carryover parts with the E12. I'm told the windscreens fit and things like this. But substantially it was supposed to be a new model. Now this is probably the most desirable. It's a 528i manual from 1986. I think the new car actually came, the E34 followed this in actual fact, I think that landed in 88, so we're towards the end of production. I quite like the Etta, the 525e with a 2.7 litre engine, but that one, what's the colour, dolphin grey maybe? I'm not sure, but I'd certainly find room for one of those for sure. So an E46 M3 in that colour and trim combination has to be an individual BMW choice, I would imagine. It's certainly not for shrinking violets, is it? Now this is an SMG, sequential manual gearbox. Now I know they do have some issues with M3s. They put a massive amount of torque through the rear wheels, and potentially this can cause cracks, but this one looks in beautiful condition. The colour, I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up, but it's lovely, the colour, a sort of blackberry colour, very nice. Well, looking relatively modified is this Mark II pre-facelift Granada, sporting a B plate. Maybe that's the year it came to the UK, I don't know. It's badged as a gear. It's got some sort of BBS type alloy wheels on it as well. It's got a factory sunroof, got a lovely interior, that velour interior. Not quite sure where it's from. I suspect this might be a South African car. I just have that feeling, to be honest with you. It's got a pre-facelift front and a facelifted back lights. Well, I'm not quite sure what it is or where it's from or what year it is, but you know, there it is anyway. Well, you certainly wouldn't lose this Exige in a car park. I suspect it's one of the track cars, or it'd have to be. Must be an excuse for that on the roof. Well, the colour's something else, isn't it? Get out of my way. I do have the feeling these potentially could be a future classic. What held them back was the price was over £100,000 list price, at least for the hardtop. And this is the i8 BMW. Now, these can be had for substantially less now. One of the areas that people were critical of it uses a 3-cylinder 1.5 mini engine and a hybrid system. Now, actually, they're relatively quick to drive. I have driven one, going back a few years now, but it wasn't the same sense of occasion that you'd expect driving a car for about 100 grand, but very economical with that 3-cylinder mini engine, still relatively quick and very light. I think a sort of composite construction to the body. Certainly a standout colour, isn't it? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I do like these Lotus XLs. I think this was a development of the Eclat. The series of cars, the Esprit in the Eclat, in that same series, and the Elite. But the later cars did use the relationship with Toyota. I think the back axle and certainly a number of components came from Toyota. Now, they look reasonably usable in there. I must admit, I've looked at these more than once myself at the XL, and they look like reasonable money, actual fact. That one's a nice looking car. Those SD1 lights at the back, spot the rear lights, maybe. There you have it, Lotus XL. So from a glorious Goodwood Breakfast Club meeting, thanks for watching Lot 76 Cars. Please like, share, subscribe. Please tick on notifications to be informed of my next video. And once again, as always, thanks for watching.